Hey everyone, this is Mike,
This is Josh.
and we are
Real Dead.
dead.
And Mike, what movie are we doing tonight? What are we reviewing tonight?
We're going to review one of your favorite movies of all time. It's Friday the 13th, Part V or 5,
Yep.
The New Beginning.
So the last movie of this series that we reviewed was Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, which is actually a very solid movie. I
liked
think
it.
It's really good, actually.
Corey Feldman.
Yeah, Corey Feldman's in it, and they wanted to end the series there, but when that money train rolled in, they said we need to make more. Find a way. They said, well, we killed we killed Jason Voorhees off. Let's how are we gonna do this? They said, figure it out, and they did. They definitely figured it out. So a lot of people consider this, Mike, the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch of the Friday the 13th series. But I'll take that as a compliment, because Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is not a bad movie.
No.
So this, in my opinion, this is not a bad movie. It's definitely not the worst in the series of movies, because we got some dandies coming up after. That's why I think, to me, the strong point in this movie is all the different side characters and one-off characters you get that just get, like, you literally meet them and then they're dead, 3 minutes later. I think that is the strong suit in this movie, because a lot of them are just unique and they're not just bland teenagers like in previous movies, in my opinion.
So how do you make money back in the day? How many you're trying to get all these teenagers to come see the movies. So you do two things. You bring Jason back.
Yep.
You have him have some awesome killings. Was there some awesome killings in this movie?
Yeah, there's some good ones.
And there's a lot of TNA.
Yeah,
a lot of TNA in this movie.
There's more TNA in this. Didn't you say there's more TNA in this Friday the 13th?
Supposedly, a lot of the people say there's more nudity and stuff in this movie than any of the other ones.
So the director was kind of known for, like, one of the first things he ever directed was like a softcore porn, I guess. Yeah, of this movie.
Okay.
Right. So, also, I was watching this thing that said he was heavily using cocaine during the whole filming of this movie, the director.
Well, that makes sense.
Basically, he was like, go. And then the actors just kind of acted the way they wanted to act. Seriously. Like, he was, and they said, like, during the nude scene, especially the one with the girl that gets the shears through her eyes, like, he literally filmed a ton more footage of her just naked, and like, he was like, he was off camera, like, yelling stuff like, grab her boobs, do this, do that, act like you're doing this. But of course, they couldn't add it in the movie. But I guess he was like trying to make it really out there with all this. And of course, it didn't make the movie. But though the actress that was in that scene, she said that the director was always really nice to her and made her feel safe. He wasn't like a
Is this the
creeper.
movie that she became a news reporter?
What one?
Is this the movie where the girl, like, did she end up being a news reporter? Like,
No,
for a TV station? Either one of the Halloweens or one of the Friday 13th movies, one of the key persons in the movie ended up becoming a weather person on TV.
No, I think you know what her last name is? The girl that played that part? The girl that her last name is Voorhees, Mike, in real life. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So they said as soon as they saw that, they said, you're hired. So, and because, the one guy, I was watching like interviews, and one guy said, basically these girls got the job based on the size of their tits.
With as much as in here, I probably so. Yep.
So I thought that was funny. But let's get, do you have that synopsis or Rotten Tomato score, Mike?
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the synopsis here and share it. And I'll put us down here in the bottom. So it says years after Tommy Jarvis murdered hockey mask serial killer Jason Voorhees, he resides in a mental hospital and struggles with the trauma of the experience. When Tommy moves to an isolated halfway house, he has nightmares about Jason's return, and soon one of the patients is killed. As the body count grows, Tommy begins to question his sanity and wonder if Jason has risen from the dead. But to determine the killer's identity, Tommy will need to survive.
Right.
You want me to go ahead and show the score now?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, it got a whopping 18%.
Well, that doesn't surprise me from the critics. I mean, I think both of these are paying
26% from the audience.
Yeah, that is low, and I admit that. But I don't think this is not the lowest movie we've ever done before.
Is it?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Let's look up real quick. Friday the 13th, Part 3, because I think that may be the lowest one we've done.
Okay. Part 3, I don't know if Part 3's got that low of a rating.
Oh, it got a 7 and a 42. So even on 3, the audience liked it better.
Right.
Okay.
But the critics like this one better.
True.
So you never know. But so, like I said, in the beginning, you do see Corey Feldman. He actually was kind of really starting to become a big star. He was in the middle of filming Goonies, so he couldn't be in this movie, even though he wanted to be. He wanted to be in this movie, but he couldn't. His schedule wouldn't allow it. So he did that little, I guess cameo in special. They call it special appearance in the beginning. And I like Corey Feldman. I always have. He's a pretty good rock star right now.
He's a modern day rock star.
So, yeah, I mean, he's in the beginning, and I think this opening scene's pretty cool, Mike. I
like the very beginning of this. I like him. He come out there. He's walking through the rain. He's got a raincoat on. He goes to Jason's grave. He's sitting there looking at it, and then he hears somebody coming, so he goes and hides. And two young guys come up, dig up the body. All of a sudden, Jason comes up, stabs one of them. He's buried with a machete. He stabs one of them and kills them both. Then he stands up. Yep. Then he stands up and looks over towards the woods. I guess he heard Corey Feldman in the woods.
He looked
walking
great.
At him. Huh?
He looked great too. The Jason, when he stands up out of that and he just the rain and stuff, dude, it looks awesome the way he looked.
Yep. And then he come over, and then all of a sudden, what's his name? Tommy Jarvis. He wakes up. He's been in the back of a van on the way to somebody's to like the halfway place.
So I think besides some of the other goofy things that happen in this movie, I think the Tommy Jarvis character in this movie is bad. I mean, this is bad in my opinion. This guy couldn't act a lick. He's horrible. And I like Corey Feldman's portrayal of Tommy Jarvis in the last movie. And I actually like the next movie, number 6. That Tommy Jarvis is kind of like the definitive Tommy Jarvis, because that actor has come back and he's going to be in the next that fan film or whatever. Right. Never Hike Alone 2 or whatever. So he's kind of been like he's like the definitive Tommy Jarvis now. But yeah, he's going to what do they call that? A halfway house? I don't know what they call that.
It's like a rehabilitation place, so they can learn how to live on their own and stuff. Right.
And it just has a cast of characters. There's this one kind of like chubbier guy. He's trying to get people to freaking eat candy bars and stuff. And then he annoys people. And this guy's chopping wood. I'm not sure why. Why are they giving this guy an axe? But he ends up killing this kid, and this will be important later. Mm-hmm. He ends up killing this guy, cuts his arm right off. They show the body, like he went to town on him with his axe. And these 2 paramedics come and grab him, and one paramedic, when he looks at the body, he's like, "Oh," and you're like, "What the heck? Like, is he grossed out by the body? You didn't know what, or was he shocked by the mayhem?" And then there's this one really weird part where literally he just stares right into the camera. And you're like, what's going on here? Like, what is this about? But and I said I do like the music in this movie. I think the music's all right. You know, it's just normal Friday the 13th type music. Later on, we get some bangers. I think Alice Cooper I think he's on the soundtrack for number 6 or 7. I don't know which one, but I love this part coming up where Tommy's in his room, and all of a sudden he opens up his closet, and this big spider drops down in front of his face. And it turns out this kid, his name's Reggie the Reckless, that's his nickname. And he was like, and Tommy Jarvis is just thrown off by this big fake rubber spider. And he was like, "You afraid of spiders? You afraid of rubber spiders? You were afraid of rubber spiders on strings?" It was just so funny. Like, it was just funny the way he said that. And
I like the kid in the movie. I like you end up pulling for the kid.
Yeah, Reggie is a really good character in this movie.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a replacement of like Tommy Jarvis in a way from the first one, where he's the kid you're rooting for. And like I said, the teenage Tommy Jarvis is just flat, and I just don't like his character. But you come across these first two characters called Pete and Vinny, and they're like trying to get their car started. Like, who are these people, first of all? But like, it doesn't matter because they get killed really fast. And one of these kills I really like, Mike. Jason takes a road flare and sticks it right in one of the guy's mouths, man.
Yeah.
I like that kill. The other guy
I did like that one.
The other guy
that was a new one.
Yeah, the other guy just gets his throat cut. So
right.
But I definitely like the road flare in the mouth. That was really cool. And now Jason started killing again. So you're like, wait a minute, what? You know, like what caused this? Like how is Jason
the whole
back?
time Tommy Jarvis is having flashbacks and seeing Jason, and you're kind of questioning the whole time, like the synopsis said, is it really him? Is he the one killing all these people? And he's, you know, or is he's seeing these visions of Jason? And so you're kind of questioning everybody if they're really the killer, or if it's really Tommy Jarvis, or is it really, you know,
is it Jason back?
Yeah, what is going on? Is this Jason back? Because they really don't give a lot of backstory, of how Jason got here. You know,
I kind of like that. I do. I kind of like that. Like, whoa, you're like, what is going on? Is it? And then, like you said, like, could it be Tommy Jarvis killing these people?
Because at the end of 4, you remember Corey Feldman's one of the most awesome scenes. He slaps him in that head, and then he slides down that blade of that. One of the best killings I've seen. I mean, it was really cool.
It's pretty awesome. Like I said, number 4 is awesome. And then also at the end of number 4, they teased Tommy Jarvis could be a killer because he like looked into the camera.
Yeah, he's got that crazy eye look.
So in this movie, you're like, wait, could Tommy Jarvis be killing this? Now the next you get another fun scene. Some guy in like a freaking old beat up muscle car, a bald guy with a big bald spot here and losing hair.
Do you notice that's the same guy that was not the paramedic, but was bringing Tommy Jarvis to the place. He's up in the front seat looking at a Playboy, reading articles in a Playboy. So you know he's a perv right off the bat, man.
Reading the articles?
Yes, he's reading articles. What do you think he was doing?
But yeah, you're right. And he was like yelling like, "Tina, get your butt out here." And it's a girl, it's a waitress
Luna.
Or whatever. He was basically like, "Oh, I want you." She was like, "What do you want to do tonight?" He goes, "I just want you naked, honey." That's all he said.
And what does she do?
She gets naked.
She shows him her stuff right there. Just lets it all out.
No, she does not. She goes to the back and undresses. We do get a cat scare here, Mike. A cat jumps out somehow. But this guy's out here just having a blast with his part. You know how he takes out cocaine, and that was actually crushed up baby aspirin. It wasn't cocaine. He said he was the only one that wasn't doing cocaine during that scene.
1982. That was the time for it.
So after he did that bump of cocaine, he was like, "Yo."
He was ready for Luna to come out there.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, get out here!" And then all of a sudden, it just goes right into his balls. And
Gal's such a lovable boy.
like, dude, like, no, No, your eyes wouldn't do that. You'd just be dead. Like, you wouldn't open your eyes wider if you got an axe to the back of the head. So, I don't know. It was just funny. I like that kill. I think that was cool. And then she comes out, and Jason hits her in the stomach with an axe, which I kind of like that kill because they show her just laying there and the axe is just sticking out. I think Jason's pretty menacing in this, though he is a bit smaller in this movie, isn't he, Mike? He's smaller. He's not a huge hulking guy. He's thin. He's thin for sure. And
his shoulders. He don't have broad shoulders.
He don't have those traps like freaking Goldberg was Jason Voorhees.
Like number 3.
Yeah. And he's thinner, and I think he's wearing like a Michael Myers type bodysuit the whole time. Right?
Plus, his mask is blue and not red.
Oh yeah, the things instead of being up, they're down and they're right here. They're a little different, and he doesn't have that red triangle up here on the forehead either. And I do like that. I think that's kind of a cool thing that, like, you probably didn't notice that, when you were watching it and stuff, maybe. And then at the end, it makes sense why it was a different mask. But I like those kills. I thought those were fun. And of course, all these people are doing drugs and having sex and all this kinds of stuff. So basically, they're going to die. I mean, obviously.
Well, the one you talked about earlier, that was a pretty good, reminded me of The Burning. Maybe they stole it from The Burning.
Yes.
They're having sex, and then the guy goes down to the lake or something, the pond, and the next thing you know, Jason takes the clippers, comes down on her.
And then her eyes.
And then her boyfriend, which was a pretty good kill too, when he comes back and sees what happened, Jason throws like a leather belt around him and then takes a stick and turns it around until it pops and just like, crushes him. It comes right through his eyes and everything. I mean, it was pretty sick.
So they said they filmed a ton more of that where it was just pumping the blood out, Mike.
Really?
What they did was the director was like, hey, studio, if I won't put this in the movie, if you let me put more of her boobs in the movie. And they were like, okay. Seriously. Okay. Yeah, they were like, fine. So, and then we get to another memorable character. Like I said, dude, these side characters are memorable. The main characters are just vanilla to me. The side characters are the ones that you'll remember in this movie. And you come up to this guy named Demon, who is Reggie's. Well, there's the main girl. Who's that main girl? What's her name? The blonde that's with Reggie.
I can't remember her name. Yeah, she's the main character.
She's like a final type girl. But you come up to this guy named Demon, who's Reggie's brother, and he's got a girlfriend in the car, and he's just talking about these enchiladas. He's like, I ate these enchiladas. He's like, you want an enchilada? And then he told Reggie, he's like, do you want a taco, an enchilada, a piece of pizza? Like, he's got all this food in his van. He's got one of those vans that's like...
It's like living in a van.
Yeah, it's got carpet and all this stuff in it. And
the van's rocking, don't bother knocking.
Yeah, it's one of those vans. And they're just there, smoking some weed and hanging out, eating some enchiladas. And then they end up leaving Reggie and that girl. And then all of a sudden they're talking, and he's like, he's like, oh, those enchiladas. And he like runs out of the van. He goes to somehow there's a porta potty here, Mike, or an outdoor toilet. This is Friday 13th 5. This is the third time that somebody's been on the toilet when Jason comes and interrupts him. Yep. And he doesn't and you know what? I don't know if he actually went to the bathroom though. But he does get up without wiping, just like in the other movies. So if he did, but I don't think he ever did because his girlfriend ended up getting her throat cut. Jason takes a steel rod and stabs it into his leg through the thing, and then he ends up getting the rod through his stomach and he dies. But yeah, I thought that was a decent kill. Him, the other girl, his throat slit, whatever. But his was a decent kill.
What about the rednecks? You got to bring the rednecks.
Oh yeah, we got to bring up those North Carolina rednecks. They were
Southern Michigan rednecks, I believe.
So so is a mother and a son, and
maybe North Ohio. I don't know.
Yeah, she is funny. I think she's always saying different things, and but this guy, the son's annoying as heck, and Tommy beats the crap out of him, dude.
Yeah.
Tommy beats him up in a fight, and he's just riding his motorcycle like, oh, he hurt me. Like, stop, dude.
He's riding on the porch and coming off the porch and like circles.
I couldn't wait for Jason to cut his head off. It was great.
That was a good kill. I like that.
Yeah, and then the mom's like making this. The mom's making like a pot of stew to feed like 500 people, and it's only her and her son. And
all about the random guy too. That all of a sudden now the blue comes up and asks for food.
I thought that was funny. He was
this guy probably was a janitor on the real set and probably went and got somebody some cocaine, came back, and it's like, hey, we'll put you in the movie if you go down the street corner and get us some cocaine.
And he was like, ma'am, I'm hungry. I'll do work. And then he was just watching the teens have sex, and then all of a sudden he turns around and gets killed. Like, it was funny, like, to have that random guy. But the woman gets a cleaver to the head through a window, and then she just falls in the pot. So the final, do you want to talk about the final end part, Mike, where the girl and Reggie are basically fighting against Michael Myers, or not Michael Myers, sorry, Jason Voorhees. And
then Tommy's there too.
Tommy's there too, but Tommy isn't in this movie a lot.
Tommy's a wimp.
And when he is in this movie, dude, the guy's ripped. Like,
yeah, he beats people up when he's in it, but he's just not in it a lot.
No, and so they run, and she's like basically falls down and it can't get up off this mud. I don't get what's going on here, Mike. And Jason's running after her. He is walking very fast in this movie, like faster than normal. All of a sudden, Reggie busts out with like a front end loader and runs right into him. That was awesome, Mike. That was cool. It
was so cheesy, Josh.
Oh, I loved it. And
I love Reggie, but it was so cheesy to come out of that barn with that big front loader.
Hey, and then how'd you like her fighting him with a chainsaw? I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and she had a chainsaw, and he just had one hand up with the machete.
Yeah, what I like too is he was getting injured and bleeding. His stomach was injured and bleeding from getting hit by that front end loader. He got injured by the chainsaw. Tommy Jarvis fought him but got hit and stuff. They went up. He got cut in the chest. Tommy Jarvis did, because he just stood there like an idiot, like staring at him.
Yeah.
And then they went up top of the barn and they're fighting, and Jason gets knocked off onto these spike things, and his mask comes off, and it's this guy named Roy Burns, who was the paramedic from the beginning, and he went on this killing spree to kill all these people because they were there when his son, the guy that got chopped up by the axe, died. Though, did he ever get revenge on the guy that actually killed his son? Like, we didn't see that.
No. I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe that's going to be part 13. I don't know.
Yeah. So what else you got? You got anything to say about the ending, Mike?
No, I mean, a lot of people, the big controversy, and listen, we just did one the other night on, Michael Myers was not in the movie enough, and why I hate Halloween Ends.
Right.
A lot of people are upset with this because they call it the faux Jason. It's not the real Jason in the whole movie. You think it's really him the whole time to the very end.
That's right.
There is a scene at the very end where Tommy's in the hospital room, and then he sees Jason, and then the main character, the girl, comes in the room, and you hear a glass break, and she looks out the window, and she thinks he's gone, and then it ends right behind her where Tommy Jarvis has the blue mask on coming in from behind her. So
yeah,
that's how that one ends. But
so that's the second time they tried to set Tommy Jarvis up as like the future Jason, in my opinion.
So I didn't have a problem with it being Burns as the killer.
Me neither.
Because the whole movie, you thought it was Jason anyway. So
that's right.
It didn't bother me. Now, if it was supposed to be the end of it, and it wasn't the real Jason, and it was like his name was Corey or something, that would be a different story. But I didn't have a problem with that.
Right.
Because he was killing people. He had the bald head.
It was a mask.
Hulking, but his kills were good in the movie. So I didn't have a problem with it being Roy Burns.
Right. And like I said, I really don't think this one is that bad, Mike. I really don't. I'll give you my rating if you're ready for it.
Okay.
I'm giving this one a 5, a 50-50, because like I said, I like the side characters. To me, the two main characters, the blonde and Tommy Jarvis, are the worst characters in the movie. They're not interesting at all. Reggie is really good. I like him. And like I said, like you said it, Roy Burns isn't a bad Jason because, like you said, the whole movie you think it's him. It's not where it's a switch in the middle and then they change it again. It's through the whole movie. He looks like Jason. So, like, what's the big deal here, in my opinion? But people were mad about that, and they voiced their opinion, and they changed that in the next movie. So, you want Jason, you'll get Jason. So what's your rating, Mike?
So I'm gonna give this 2 ratings.
2?
You know, I'm giving it 2 ratings. So if you're in the mood to just go watch some 80s killing and have a good time, see a little TNA, just have a good time, not really be serious horror movie, I'm gonna give it a 5 average.
Yeah.
If you're serious about Jason and you want to see a good kill, you know, if you're serious about Jason, I'm going to give it probably a 2.7. I mean, it's pretty bad in my opinion. But again, it depends on what kind of mood you're in and what you want to see. If you're taking this serious, as a serious Jason movie, it's not good at all.
Right.
But if you're just, hey, let's go have a good time, let's watch a bunch of killing, let's see some good kills in it, then yeah, I'd say it's 5. It's worth watching anyway, I think, in my opinion.
Right.
It's not like Halloween Ends where I'll never go back and see it again. This one I'll probably watch again just to see some of the cool killings in it. Yeah,
definitely. I think you're right. I think it's not like a movie like that where you wouldn't revisit it. It's not that bad. So I definitely would check out, Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. That leads to the next movie we were reviewing is Friday the 13th Part 6, and we're doing it live. So we're also going to be talking just about, the Friday the 13th franchise from 1 to 6 on top of reviewing 6. So we're going to be doing that, probably talk about maybe some of our favorite kills. Maybe we'll talk about, what the future for the Friday the 13th franchise, where can it go? And, that'll be our live show. Friday the 13th live. I don't think we determined the time, but I think probably 8 o'clock, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yep. Friday 13th, we're your channel for Friday. There's going to be a lot of other channels out there for Friday 13th stuff on. Come hang out with us as we talk about number 6, and we'll talk about the first 5 too.
Yep, that's right.
Josh, have a good one, man.
Hey, see you now. Bye.
Hey, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
Go to our Facebook page, Real Dead Horror Community as well.
Yeah, that's right. Bye, guys.